Great to see you, and great to see you doing well. And can we just say for our audience, we know the last couple of months, health-wise, has been a bit of a struggle. Can you give us an update and just let us know you're okay?
Well, I'm okay. I'm here. I feel good. I'm optimistic about things. I did have surgery in November, on Chopsticks Day, November 11th, actually, at Hopkins in Baltimore. As far as we can tell, the surgery went fine, but in the cancer world, you take this a day at a time, and you go through the treatments, and you hope for those quarters that come back clear. I'm just grateful to be around and feeling good.
Well, I can say on behalf of our team, and I'm sure for much of our audience as well, we're rooting for you, and we hope to see you go from strength to strength.
Thank you.
Let's talk about this event. The end of shareholder primacy, stakeholder capitalism. What does all that fluffy stuff mean to Marriott? How serious is this moment?
Well, it's an interesting one. I also sit on the executive committee of the BRT, and of course the BRT was engaged in issuing their new statement of corporate purpose last year. And we had discussions, obviously, internally as that was being prepared. We thought about it a little bit from Marriott's perspective. Do we sign this thing? We thought it was a very easy decision to sign. Why? Well, in part because the longer term your focus, the less radical this seems. In some respects. It is when a company is really only short-term focused, where they say, if in the short term I want to maximize earnings per share, or I want to maximize shareholder value, that's when compromises will be made about what may drive, in fact, greater long-term value. Marriott's 93 years in the business this year. I'm the third CEO, so it tells you something about the longevity of leadership in the company. There's very little about our DNA which says, it's all about this quarter's results. I won't go so far as to say we don't care about our current performance, but we will not compromise the future to deliver this quarter, period. And that means you're investing in your people, you're investing in your communities, you're investing in these other stakeholders for whom your long-term success is very much dependent.
You, more than anyone, can attach workers to management. You can't make it go without those tens of thousands of workers you have coast to coast and in your hotels around the world. The vast dominance that Marriott, through acquisition and all his earned years, is earned. Explain how you're going to attach your workers into the new definition of stakeholder.
So, and this is not new either. So we have about 750,000 people that wear our name badge every day around the world. So it's a huge community of people. By the way, technically, many of them are not our employees. So you might check into a hotel that is run by a franchise operator. We don't hire them.
In the new world, you have to incentivize them. How do you do that?
Well, we can't direct their employment terms. It's not our job because we're not running that business. We can, though, say, what are the things that we can do to make sure that those people are ours? That they know the work they do is more important, frankly, than the work I do. Because they're the ones that connect ultimately to our customers. And you do that by building careers for people. It is, of course, about wages and benefits, too. That's got to be table stakes and make sure that you're fair and competitive, at least, if not better than that. But more important than that is, how do we build careers where people can grow in them, where they can be proud of the work that they're accomplishing, where they are living their lives with the stability that work allows them to bring.
Yeah.
And that there is a dignity and a pride in work for all of us.
And I think there is an increasing sensitivity to the values of the employees that come on, especially the younger generation, which many of the CEOs in America I speak to are certainly aware of that. It brings me to a very delicate question for a multinational across several markets. How do you simultaneously please an increasingly progressive base at home in a place like the United States and appease a suppressive state like a government in China? How do you do those two things at the same time?
There are some parts of that question that are hard to answer, right? And get answered only over the course of time, where you see how cultures evolve, you see how governments evolve, and see the way they change. We have got to show up in places where we do business, not with the arrogance that we know what the answers are for every culture around the world, but with the sense that every one of our people, no matter where where we're doing business, has the right to have pride in the work that they accomplish.
I don't want to underestimate this. I think this is a really tough moment for multinationals. I just think that in the United States, quite clearly, a base that is very pro-democracy And in a place like China, if you talk about Hong Kong, if you look down the camera any moment now and mentioned your thoughts on Hong Kong, your personal beliefs, and echoed the values of your customers in the United States, you'd be frozen out of there tomorrow. How do you handle that? What do you do?
Well, again, I think you navigate this through as best you possibly can. And obviously,
do you think it's possible?
CEO...
I guess that's what I'm asking. Do you think it's possible? Do you think we're trying to do too much? Do you think this is actually possible?
I do think it's possible. And I think you can use this in a global context. You can use this in an American context. So in the United States, as an example, we have spoken out in favor of LGBT issues and other issues. Our workforce is very interested in that. We have a big community of members of that community that are part of our community. We have not spoken out. I've not spoken out on choice issues.
Okay.
I have a point of view, but it's not particularly germane to anything.
No.
Why would somebody care what my point of view is? And so you pick the places where you say, this is what's relevant in this way.